Smile is about an entity that stalks traumatized people and creepily smiles at them until it captures their soul and moves on to someone else. It's basically It Follows and The Ring mixed together, but with smiles. It begins with a dead body and a little girl staring at it. The little girl was Rose, who's now a therapist at a hospital. She gets a call about a man with thanatophobia, and the, I'm assuming, nurse leaves her alone in this room with this guy who's mumbling about everyone dying. But she just hospitalizes him for a few days. She then talks to her boss, who is Kumar from Harold and Kumar, and he tells her to go home since she's worked all night. So she leaves, and 10 seconds later her phone starts ringing, and she somehow hears it although she was down the hall and goes back to answer it. She then once again goes to this giant room with no security with this woman who had to be restrained when going into the hospital and is clearly a danger. There's no way this can go wrong. Turns out this woman's been seeing something that only she can see that's following her and smiling at her. This sounds like It Follows. She then has a massive freak out.
I have a patient emergency in Eval 2. I need staff here now.
Wait, the only way for her to call for help is this phone in the back corner of the room? What the hell? Great, crazy lady now has a piece of broken glass and a creepy smile. She does kind of a good job with it. It's like 8 out of 10. And she kills herself. So glad there's no security in this room. This hospital sucks. Rose gets interviewed by the police and goes home to her cat that won't be used later. That night, she thinks she sees Crazy Lady, but then her boyfriend comes home, and they go to dinner with Rose's sister where they argue about some property they own from their mother. The next day, she goes back to work, even though someone committed suicide right in front of her. She didn't get any kind of leave or help offering for that? No? Okay. Turns out her and Officer Joel used to date, so he's checking up on her. She's fine, except Deathman is creepily smiling at her, it's like a 7 out of 10 smile, and starts yelling about death to her.
You're going to die! You're going to die! You're going to die!
I guess this is supposed to be scary, so she has him restrained, although he actually wasn't doing anything. So now Kumar wants her to take a paid day off, which is what he should have done when someone committed suicide right in front of her. But there's still no offer for help. He's just like, oh, go home for a week. You'll be fine. Rose's nephew's birthday is coming up, so she buys him a train set. That night, she's wrapping up the train set and her house alarm goes off. Some scary fake call happens and the police show up, but they didn't find anything and now she can't find the cat. Gee, I wonder where it could be. Rose can't sleep now and is listening to the recording of Crazy Lady, and she thinks she hears something weird and... Okay, I didn't say anything, but this is the 5th jump scare in like 5 minutes. Jump scares aren't scary. I'm not scared, I'm startled, and that's annoying. Now she's finally going to see a therapist, which is what Kumar should have suggested after someone committed— fuck it, she wants a prescription for Risperdal for her hallucinations, but her therapist says no. The next day, she goes to her nephew's birthday party. This kid opens Rose's gift, and surprised that everyone saw coming, it's Rose's dead cat. And Rose is like, I thought it was a train set.
I thought it was a train set. And everyone's like, oh, sad. That's so sad, he's so crazy.
So she goes to the hospital, and they just send her home. She gave a dead cat to a child as a gift, and the hospital goes, oh, she's fine, and sends her home. What the hell? After they get home, she tells her fiance what's been happening, and this dick calls her crazy and goes inside. So Rose looks up the teacher who killed himself in front of Crazy Lady, and visits his widow to look for answers. She shows Rose an attic full of drawings that he made in a week. There's a lot here. Did he quit his job and just paint? What the hell? Anyway, Rose asks too many questions, and the widow gets pissed and kicks her out. No one is helping this character. Maybe if someone helped her, she wouldn't be so messed up. Anyway, Rose goes to Joel to help her find the past people who killed themselves after witnessing a suicide. So they go down this rabbit hole of looking into people who committed suicide in front of other people a week after they witnessed a suicide. So I guess this is The Ring now. Sure, they find this video that's supposed to be scary, but it's so goofy, it's just not. God damn it. And oh no, he's smiling in it, but it's like a 5 out of 10. It's not great. I guess Joel just printed off this police evidence and gave it to her, because I'm sure that's allowed, and she goes home to show her fiance. But I guess he called her therapist because he's concerned about her. And instead of accepting the help, she gets pissed and storms out. You know what? I take back my complaint about no one helping her. So Rose goes to her sister because she's been so much help so far.
I'm being threatened by this entity. Nobody else can see it except for me. Holly, I'm gonna be next.
Those curses are not real. This is exactly what happened to Mom. I can't have you around when you're like this.
See, no help at all. I actually kind of like this scene. The two actresses do really well. At least her sister come back.
Holly.
What was that? I think that was supposed to be scary, but it's actually hilarious. Anyway, that night Joe calls and said he looked more into this follows ring thing, and there was a case of someone breaking the pattern by murdering another person in front of someone else. So they decide it's a good idea to go talk to him. So they go to the prison to meet him under the guise of it happening to someone else. He explains that her patient needs to kill someone in front of another person and make it as traumatizing as possible, until Rose blows it.
I can't kill someone!
This guy completely flips and Rose basically gets kicked out of the room.
What do you say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He's out of his mind, Joel.
She gets mad that no one is trying to help her, but then when someone is trying to help her, she gets mad that he's trying to help her. At this point, she's doing it to herself. Then Rose goes home and ignores her therapist call. Gee, I wonder if this letter means anything. Well, since she didn't answer her phone, her therapist just shows up at her door. Considering Rose's state of mind, shouldn't she be calling the police or something? Anyway, they talk and Rose lies and says she's not seeing things anymore, even though she looks like crap.
Trevor mentioned there'd been talk of ghosts.
I never used the word ghosts. I admitted to him that I was seeing things, the same thing that I told you. That's not happening anymore.
Then the phone rings and it's her therapist checking up on her. But if the call is her therapist, how is she? Oh, she's not very good at the creepy smile thing though. It's like a 3 out of 10. Then it grabs her and I guess just goes away? I don't know. This convinces her it's murder time. And she goes and repeatedly stabs Death Guy in front of her boss, who then peels his face off because this is all an hallucination. I cannot take this movie seriously. If you want me to take your horror movies seriously, maybe don't have someone from Harold and Kumar in it. Anyway, her boss then really sees her and her knife and she drives off while he calls to have her committed. Now he's doing something about this? Where was this concern a week ago? Anyway, now she realizes she probably shouldn't be around people. That only took a week, and she goes to her abandoned childhood home, where we learn that she saw her mom alive after she tried to kill herself and could have called for help but chose not to. And that night she has a conversation with the smile thing while it's pretending to be her mother, which she seems fine with, but now it's scary because it smiled at her. I mean, it's like a 6 out of 10 smile, so it's okay, but I feel like this wouldn't be an issue if she didn't freak out about it. Anyway, then, I don't know, Smiles? I'm just gonna call this thing Smiles. Smiles here turns into this giant mutated version of her mom and attacks her. Rose finally decides to stop freaking out about this and lights Smiles on fire and burns the house down. She then goes to Joel's place for somewhere to stay. But oh no, Joel does the scary smile thing and it's like a 4 out of 10 smile because this is all an hallucination. So Rose starts freaking out about it again and realizes she never left the house. So real Joel somehow finds her, so Rose locks herself in the house for some reason and freaks out more because Smiles is back. And it peels its face off and crawls into Rose's mouth. It's supposed to be scary, but it just looks so bad. Like, look at this thing. This doesn't even look like Rose. Like, seriously, look at this. Does this even look like Rose? Anyway, Joel kicks down the door and Rose and her creepy smile, which is about a 7 out of 10, it's pretty good, douses herself in kerosene and takes forever to light a match and light herself on fire. Joel easily could have stopped her, but instead he just stood there. So now he's traumatized and the cycle continues. This is an alright movie. I can't really say it's scary though. There are parts that are supposed to be scary but come off as funny, like Rose's sister's head going upside down, or Kumar peeling off his face, or the entire part at the end with smiles. I just don't find it scary. The first half was scarier because it had subtle things in the background and it had a mystery of what was going on, but the second half devolved into a point of goofiness. It also relied way too much on jump scares. I think there was about 20 jump scares in this, and there's a 7-minute stretch that has like 4 of them. I don't like that they showed what Smiles really looks like. It ruined the mystique of what this thing was, and I feel like once a movie shows what the entity looks like, it stops being scary. The acting is pretty good overall. Sosie Bacon is really good as Rose Cotter. In the beginning, you can tell she really cares for her patients, and she does a great job reacting to Laura committing suicide in front of her, and she does a fantastic job acting out Rose's descent into madness as she is tormented by an entity. Kyle Gallner is really good as Joel. He's good with going from not taking what's happening seriously to showing concern for Rose, and he's okay at pretending to be Smiles. Caitlin Stacey did a great job as Laura Weaver. She does have previous experience with this project from the prequel short Laura Hasn't Slept. She's very believable in showing the fear and panic Laura has while she's talking with Rose, and her smile once Laura becomes possessed is really creepy. The visual effects are really bad. They all just look so fake. Like when Rose's sister's head goes upside down. It's probably the best visual effect, but it still looks bad. But not as bad as when Kumar peels his face off or when Smiles pulls its skin off. They look like something out of a PS3 game, which is jarring in a way that takes me out of the movie. The worst is when Smiles goes into Rose's body. I don't know what they did for this effect, but almost anything would have been better. Whatever this is doesn't even come close to looking like Rose. It looks so fake, it's hilarious. Well, I guess that's what you get when you combine It Follows with The Ring and add a bunch of unnecessary jump scares. If you want to see an uncensored version of this video, or any of my other videos, check out my Patreon. If not, I appreciate you watching my video here too. Don't forget to do the YouTube stuff, and thanks for watching.